Good evening, students, and welcome to the class today. Today we will start with a new chapter, which is chapter 8th, iterative statements in Python. So let's start.
In the previous lesson, you reviewed the basic concepts of Python, its functions, operators, and conditional statements. In this chapter, you will learn about the iterative statements. In a program, there are situations when we have to repeat one or more statements many times. This repetition can be carried out using loops in programming. First, let us understand the concept of a loop with the help of a real-life example. Suppose your instructor instructs you to run and take 5 rounds of the playground to warm up. Before you start running, you fix a starting point. On reaching the starting point again, you complete 1 round. Then you take the second round and so on. This way, you keep the track of the number of rounds until the process of taking rounds gets completed. Now, let us analyze the above example using programming to understand looping. Let us say the control variable is C. In this example, we have taken the initial value of C as 0. When you complete the first round, the value of C becomes 1. After the second round, its value becomes C, that is equal to C plus 1. That is 1 plus 1 equals to 2, and so on. This value will get incremented each time the process repeats. After incrementing, the control variable C will be checked against the maximum number of the repetitions, which is 5 in this case. Let us understand this example with the help of a flowchart. Start, then go to take starting point as C. Let C equals to 0. Are the number of rounds greater than or equal to 5? C is greater than equal to 5. No. C equals to C plus 1. Take more rounds. Yes. Stop. This process will continue until the value of C becomes 5. It means the loop will continue for 5 times and then it will terminate. The advantage of using the looping technique in programming is that it reduces the number of instructions and also the memory space. Students, let's know more. A control variable in a loop is used to store the initial value and gets incremented after every loop to reach its final value. A control variable is also known as the counter variable. Okay, let's talk about iterative statements. The statements that keep repeating themselves as long as a given condition is true are called iterative statements or repetitive statements. As soon as the condition becomes false, the loop terminates. These are also called looping statements or simply loops. An iterative statement is based on 3 values. A start value, that is initial value. Example, C equals to 0. A test condition, example, C is smaller than equal to 5. A step value, increment or decrement, example, C equals to C plus 1. Every loop works with the help of a variable known as the control variable. The initial value of the control variable is assigned at the beginning of the loop. Then the final value of the control variable is specified. And finally, the step value of the control variable is defined. That is, it is either incremented or decremented by the given value at each step to reach the final value. In Python, there are 2 types of iterative statements: for, while. Students, let's know more. A control variable usually starts with the value 0 or 1, but it can be assigned any number depending on the user's requirement. Students, now let us understand for loop. The for loop is used when we are sure about how many times a loop body will be executed. It is also known as definite loop. In Python, the working for loop is based on various operators and functions. The syntax for using the for loop is for variable in sequence, loop body statements to be executed, or for variable in range. For is loop control. Initial value x equals to 10. Final value x equals to 20. Step value, default value is 1. Loop body statements to be executed. Before we proceed further, let us first understand the concept of membership operators. Membership operators. Membership operators play an important role in controlling the working of a loop. There are two membership operators, in and not in. Out of these, the in operator plays a significant role in the working of loops. Let us understand the in membership operator. The in operator. The in operator is used to check if a given value exists in the sequence or not. It evaluates to true if it finds a value in the specified sequence, else it returns false. Syntax: value in, bracket in sequence, bracket close. For example, if you want to check whether number 10 is present in a given sequence of numbers 1, 2, 3, 10, execute the following code. Program 1. In the above example, the program checks whether number 10 exists in the given list or not. If yes, the in operator will return the value true, otherwise it will return a false value. Similarly, if you want to check whether a number entered by the user is present in the given list or not, type the following code and observe the output. Program 2. Using in membership operator with for loop. Consider the following example. Program 3. The following steps are involved in the execution of the for statement. Step 1. The in operator will first check if there is a value in the list. If yes, then in operator will return the value true. If the value returned by the in operator is true, then the loop control variable I will be assigned a value from the sequence. Step 2. The print statement will print the value assigned to the variable I. Students note that every time the in operator returns true, a new value will be assigned to the variable I and it will be printed. This process of printing values will continue until the last value in the sequence is used. The loop will terminate after printing the last value. The range main function. The range main function used with for loop in Python is helpful in generating a sequence of numbers in the form of a list. For example, range 10 will generate numbers from 0 to 9, 10 numbers. Syntax: range, initial value, final value, step value. Here the initial value is an integer specifying at which position to start, while the final value specifies the end, and the step value specifies either increment or decrement at each step to reach the final value. While using the range function, the final value is always 1, less than the last value in the given sequence. The use of the range main function can be understood by the following example. Program 4. In the above code, the initial value of the variable I is 10 and the final value is 19. 20 minus 1 equals to 19. Each time the loop executes, the value of I is incremented by 1. So the final sequence will be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now the variable I, which in this case is 10, will be checked within this range. As 10 is present in the given range, so the output of the program will be true. Now try some other range. The output of the program will change accordingly. Program 5. Step 1. The initial value of the I variable is assigned 10. Step 2. Using the range main function, a sequence is created with all the values between 100 to 199. The in operator will check whether the value of the variable I exists in the sequence or not. If the value does not exist in the sequence, the in operator will return the output false. Using range main function in for loop. We can use the range main function in for loop to iterate through a sequence of numbers. Program 6. Step 1. The for loop executes. The initial value 10 is assigned to the variable I. Step 2. The value of I, that is 10, is printed. Step 3. The counter variable is incremented. The next value, which is 20, is assigned to the variable I and the same is printed. Now let us see how the range function works in for loop. Program 7. To print the square of the number given in range. When we use the range main function, it creates a sequence of all the values between the initial value and the final value minus 1. In this case, a sequence of values between 10 to 19. 20 minus 1 equals to 19 is created, and the squares of all the values from 10 to 19 are printed. Step 1. The for loop executes and the range main function creates a sequence of values between 10 to 19. The initial value, that is 10, is assigned to the variable I. Step 2. The square of the value 10, that is 100, is printed. Step 3. By default, the counter variable is incremented by 1 and its square gets printed. Step 4. The step 3 continues till the last value in the sequence, that is 19, is assigned to the variable I and its square is printed. Now if we change the step value or increment the value in the range main function by 3, see what happens. Program 8. When you increment the step by 3, you will get the sequence 10, 13, 16, 19. Step 1. The for loop executes the range main function, creates a sequence of values between 10 to 19. The initial value, that is 10, is assigned to the variable I. Step 2. The value 10 is printed. Step 3. The counter variable is incremented by 3. The next value is assigned to I, that is 13, is printed. Step 4. The step 3 continues till the last value in the sequence, that is 19, is assigned to the variable I and gets printed. Students note that the value of the counter variable can also be decremented to n number of steps. For example, for I in range 20, 10, minus 3. Program 9. To find the factorial of a number. Factorial of 5. 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 equals to 120. Step 1. The program asks a user to enter a number. Let's say a equals to 5. Step 2. Assign the value 1 to variable f. Step 3. Specify the range in for loop, that is 1 to a plus 1, where a will accept that value which a user enters. Step 4. The factorial will be calculated as f equals to f into I. Step 5. By default, each time the loop executes, the value of the variable I is incremented by 1. Note: the variable f is assigned a new value each time the statement f into I is executed. Step 6. Steps 4 and 5 are repeated till the last value of the counter variable is encountered. Step 7. The final value of the factorial variable, that is f, is printed. Program 10. To print a Fibonacci series. A Fibonacci series is a series in which each number is the sum of the two preceding numbers, such as 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, etc. Step 1. The user is asked to enter a value for variable n. Step 2. The variable a is initialized to 0. Step 3. The variable b is initialized to 1. Step 4. Initial value of a is printed. Step 5. Initial value of b is printed. Step 6. Now the for loop executes from 1 up to n plus 1. Step 7. The next value of the series is generated and printed by adding the previous two terms, that is c equals to a plus b. Step 8. The value of b is assigned to a. Step 9. The value of c is assigned to b. Note: the value of a and b is updated every time when the loop is executed. Step 10. The loop will terminate when the last value in the range, that is n plus 1, is encountered. Students know the fact that by default the step value in a loop is incremented by 1. Students, let's know about while loop. The while loop is the simplest of all looping structures. In general, this loop can be applied to a program where the number of iterations is not known beforehand. The while loop keeps on executing the block of statements as long as the specified test condition evaluates to true. While loop has four main components. Initialization. It is used to assign an initial value to the loop control variable. Example: a equals to 10. Condition or test expression. This statement checks whether the loop body will be further executed or not. The loop keeps executing till the condition or the text expression is true. Loop body. It contains the set of statements that are required to iterate or repeat step value. Step value. This statement keeps updating the loop control variable so that a final value is achieved and the loop terminates. Students, you must provide an initial value to the loop variable to execute the loop smoothly. Syntax: initialization, while, condition, loop body, updation. Let us understand the working of the while loop with the help of the following examples. Program 11. To print the first 10 natural numbers. Step 1. Initialize the variable I to 0. Step 2. Check the condition whether I is smaller than equal to 10. Step 3. If I is smaller than equal to 10, print the value of I. Step 4. Increment the value of I by 1, that is, I equals to I plus 1. Step 5. This process will continue till the value of I is less than or equal to 10. The loop will terminate once the value of I becomes greater than 10. Program 12. To print the square of numbers between 10 to 20. Step 1. The variable I is assigned an initial value 10. Step 2. The condition I is smaller than 20 is checked. Step 3. If the condition evaluates to true, then the statement print I into I is executed. Step 4. Each time the loop executes, the value of I is incremented by 1. Step 5. The control shifts back to the while loop. The while condition is checked again. If the condition is true, then steps 3 and 4 are repeated, and if the condition is false, the while loop terminates. Program 13. To print the multiples of 3 and their sum in the range 10 to 30. Step 1. The variable I is assigned an initial value 10. Step 2. The variable S is assigned an initial value 0. It will store the sum of all the multiples of 3. Step 3. The condition I is smaller than equal to 30 is checked. Step 4. If the condition evaluates to true, then the if statement checks whether the variable is multiple of 3 or not. Step 5. If the condition is true, then the counter variable is printed and is added to the previous value of S. Step 6. Each time the loop executes, the value of I is incremented by 1. Step 7. The control shifts back to the while loop. The while condition is checked again. If the condition is true, then steps 4, 5 and 6 are repeated. And if the condition is false, then the while loop terminates. Step 8. The final value of S is printed. Program 14. To print the table of a number. Step 1. The user is asked to enter a number of his choice. Step 2. The initial value 1 is assigned to the variable I. Step 3. The while condition I is smaller than equal to 10 will be checked. Step 4. If the condition evaluates to true, the statements after the while condition are executed and the product of n and I is printed. Step 5. The value of I is incremented by 1. Step 6. The control shifts back to the while loop. The while condition is checked again. If the condition is true, then steps 4 and 5 are repeated, and if the condition is false, the while loop terminates. Program 15. To create a program displaying no output when the test condition is false. In the above example, as the initial value of I, 10, is greater than 1, the condition will return false, and hence the loop body will not be executed even once. Hence, you do not get any output. Students, now let us learn about infinite loop. An infinite loop or endless loop is a sequence of instructions in a computer program which loops endlessly. It happens either due to the loop having no terminating condition or having the condition that can never be met. Let's consider the following example. Program 16. To create a program displaying endless loop. In the given example, as per the condition, the loop will continue until the value of I is greater than or equal to 1. In the updation part, we are incrementing the value of I by 1 at every step, and hence the loop variable I will always be greater than 1. This means that at no time will the loop variable be less than 1, and hence the loop body will execute finitely. To come out of the finite loop, you have to terminate the interactive mode or program execution by closing the interactive mode window. Students, note that if the control variable does not get updated to a final value, the condition remains true forever and the loop continues infinitely. Alright students, let me explain you about loop else. A for loop or a while loop can have an optional else block as well. The else part is executed if the loop terminates normally. That is, if all the values in the sequence get used in a standard way without the loop being forcefully terminated. Both the loops, that is, for and while loop, can use else part. However, it is not mandatory to have an else block with the loop block. It is just a secure way to check that the loop has terminated normally. Program 17. To print the sum of all even and odd numbers in a range. Program 18. To print the series 4, 9, 16 till 100. Okay students, let's take a recap of this lesson. In Python, iterative statements keep repeating a set of statements as long as the given condition is true. Iterative statements are also known as loops. There are two types of iterative statements, for and while loop. For loop is generally used when we have to repeat a task a specified number of times or within a given range. The in operator checks whether a given value is a part of the specified sequence. The range main function produces a list of sequence starting with the initial value up to a final value, updating the value at each step. By default, the value is incremented by 1. The while loop can be applied to a program where the number of iterations is not known beforehand. The while loop keeps on executing the block of statements as long as the specified test condition evaluates to true. The while loop has 4 main components: initialization, condition, loop body, and step value. A for loop or a while loop can have an optional else block as well. The else part is executed if the loop terminates normally, that is, if all the values in the sequence get used in a standard way, without the loop being forcefully terminated. The loop else statement is optional to be used in a program. The else block simply makes sure that the loop is terminated normally.
With this, we are finished with the chapter. Thank you.